Very happy to have Taylor Dean with us. She is with US Figure Skating. She's the communications coordinator there. She's also from our area, an accomplished figure skater herself, and she recently was the torchbearer for the Keystone Games taking place in Luzerne County. Taylor, thank you so much for taking some time out in Colorado to be with us. First of all, let's go all the way back, but give us your background in the sport a little bit.
When I was about 6 years old, my mom one day asked if I wanted to take ice skating lessons, and being 6, I'm like, okay, sure. And I hated it. It was cold. I fell a lot. It was not my favorite. But my mom really wanted me to do it. So she made me stick with it, and it just became a part of my life.
Was there a moment you fell in love with it, or is it just a part of your life?
A lot of the time growing up, it was just kind of like a part of my life, but I really enjoyed performing. And then in high school, I sort of slowed down with it, kind of enjoyed high school more because, you know, figure skaters, they tend to miss out on a lot of things for competitions and training. So kind of took a step back from it in high school, and that's when I realized I really missed it. And so when I got to college, I really put a lot of time and effort into my skating more.
What was it like growing up in Northeast Pennsylvania doing ice skating?
I mean, I was the only figure skater in my school for as long as I could remember. Elementary school, middle school, high school, I think there was like 1 or 2 others. So I always felt like really unique in that sense. And yeah, it always just felt like a really interesting part of my identity, being like one of the few figure skaters in the area.
Tell me about you as a skater. How would you describe yourself? What are you like? I've never seen you skate, but what was it like? What's it like when you're out there?
It's a tough question. So I really like the artistry, choreographic side of skating. Like I really like choosing music that I can identify with and really create like something emotional to it.
Can you give me an example, a highlight from your college career, something you were really proud of that you were able to accomplish? I know you had a lot of team stuff happen, but what about personally too?
So my freshman year of college, I went to my first collegiate national competition with my team, and I completely failed, like wiped the ice many times, and it was really embarrassing. And so my coach was like, I don't know if we can put you back on the roster next year, like you're gonna really work for it and everything. So I just continued working and building up to it. And my senior year actually, at nationals, I went out and skated the best I ever did. And that was my last collegiate program that I skated. And so I got to go out and skate, and I actually won the event. And then my program, I ended right in front of my coaches, and they were crying, and then I started crying. And it's probably one of my favorite moments.
So what do you do with your job? What does your job entail? How would you describe it to people?
My main responsibilities, I am the main communications contact for Learn to Skate USA, which is our grassroots ice skating program. It's the beginning foundations of ice skating for all types of ice sports, whether you're interested in hockey, figure skating, or even speed skating. That's where skaters go to start to learn the skills they need to move on to where they want to go. And so I am the editor of the magazine for that. We print that out 4 times a year. And then I run all the Learn to Skate USA social media. I am always editing and writing different things. And then I also travel to events for US Figure Skating to help out with our Team USA athletes and getting them on media interviews and just covering events, you know, writing recaps and all that.
You probably get to tell some really great stories. Is there one that you've enjoyed? I mean, can you share one that you really enjoyed, or is there one recently that you've been working on?
But I did write a story on this little boy who has like a muscular condition where he doesn't have full use of his lower body, and he got into sled hockey. He started ice skating one day. His mom took him out, and he basically skated around using a chair, and he absolutely fell in love with it. And so now he's in sled hockey, and he's trying to go to the Paralympics, and it's a really cool, inspiring story about how really anybody can try to ice skate, no matter what your age, ability, or anything is.
When did you find out? When did they reach out to you to come back home to be a torchbearer for the Keystone Games?
When I found out that my home club was hosting the competition, I decided to sign up and compete and come back to Pennsylvania for a while. And so my coach, Carmina Monaco, was working with the organizing group from Keystones, and they were trying to figure out the opening ceremonies, and they asked Carmina who they thought would be a good torchbearer, and she said that my name was one of the first ones she thought of, just because in her words, I've been around for a really long time in the skating world. I'm like a veteran in the Northeast PA skating community.
What was that like? Did you get to light something with the torch? I wasn't there, I didn't get to see it.
I didn't light it, someone else lit it and handed it to me, and it was really heavy. And then when I was skating around, the flame was like flying in my face. It actually gave me a lot of anxiety.
I didn't know you competed coming back. How'd you do and what was that like?
Yeah, so I competed, and it was my first time competing since basically graduating college, so 3 years. And so I really tried to prepare my best, but I don't skate as good as I used to because there's no time. I'm working full time now. So I tried my hardest, and honestly, I didn't skate great, but I really enjoyed being out there again. And like, it was one of the few times where I had zero nerves. I just went out there and enjoyed it, and it was really fun, and I hope to do it again. So.
How different is it seeing Olympic level athletes in person compared to watching it on television? Watching
it in person is completely different from watching it on TV. For example, Nathan Chen, he was a 2018 Olympian. I'm trying to remember my years. And he's multiple time national champion, world champion. He does quad jumps, which are the hardest jumps you can imagine doing in figure skating. And so when you see him do them in person, just seeing how high he gets in the air, how fast he's going, how powerful he looks, it's really, there's nothing like watching it in person. You just can't get the same experience on a TV.
Working with Learn to Skate, what advice would you give to people who do want to give the sport a try, who want to get out there on the ice for the first time? What would you say to them?
I would say don't be afraid to try it. Ice is slippery. You will probably fall, but it really doesn't hurt that much. It's a really cool feeling once you get out there and you start gliding across the ice. There's nothing else like it. And if you start with the Learn to Skate USA program, you'll be starting with certified instructors who know all the safety tips and can help you really enjoy your time on the ice.